Hey everybody, I'm doing another DM's Guild review. This is on the campaign guide for Zakara that just came out. It's amazing, and if you are interested in the al-qadim campaign setting for 5th edition, stay tuned. Jordan here. The PH is silent, and we're looking at a really, really amazing piece of DM's Guild content for those that are fans of the al-qadim setting, which I am a super fan of. This is the campaign guide Zakara, Adventures in the Land of Fate, written and conceived and put together by GM Lent and Brock Sayre? Explore a vast peninsula far south of Faerun with this 5th edition campaign sourcebook. I'm very excited. I reached out to them the minute I saw this. It's pretty new, and it's already selling really, really well. But when I saw this, I reached out to them and I'm like, I have to review this. I love al-qadim. I wanted a 5th edition everything for it. So this is really, really cool. Just quickly diving into this, you can see over there on the table of contents that all of the different things that this book has, but we're going to get places in Zakara, so like key cities and things like that. You're going to get power groups, so basically the factions of Zakara, and your players could side with them or they might run into them and just, you know, the power struggle that is. There are character options, including new subclasses that make Zakara make certain classes more Zakaran. And there are also templates. And I believe they call them, I'm just going to check again, character kits. Yeah. So character kits is something from earlier editions, and they're bringing it back. But so you're going to play a rogue, then you're going to use this character kit on top of it to kind of give your character a Zakaran flavor. And I really like that. I have read most of this, but full disclosure, I haven't read all of it. Also, full disclosure, nobody has paid for this review. I review things that I really like, and so that is what I am here reviewing with you today. Okay, so real quick, if we go over to the Dungeon Masters Guild, I won't waste your time. This is $14.95, and it's already an Electrum seller, so good for them. You can get this in a hardcover book, which is really cool, and a PDF for $15. It's about 290, I want to say 300 pages long. If you're new to al-qadim and you want to kind of just like get to know it, this is a great way to dive in. I do believe that there are going to be more resources if you dig into the 2nd edition stuff, but this way you don't have to translate it yourself. They've got all this really cool public domain art that's just like amazing. But yeah, $14.95. If you are interested, there is an affiliate link down below in the comments and the description, the doobly-doo. So feel free to check it out. It's an affiliate link. A little bit comes back my way to help the channel, and it is no extra cost to you. So there you go. So let's dive in. I'm very, very excited. We have the front cover. We have the back cover. We have this, which is kind of a callback to the older stuff from AD&D, Adventures in the Land of Fate. Now, for those of you who don't know, Zakara is part of the Forgotten Realms, but it's so disconnected from Faerun that it really is its own world. And you could take this and put it in just about any deserty campaign setting that you want, that you also wish to have kind of a 1001 Nights style of fairy tale. They did a really, really fun job. So like I said, we have lands and seas, the people, gods, religion, and fate, because fate plays a very important role within the al-qadim campaign setting. Honor, station, and then calling upon fate and the evil eye. Now we also have places, which is cities and everything else. So the main cities are where most of the people are, but the wastes are just the abandoned deserty territories where there's kind of like a nomadic group of people that live out there. And then we have the power groups. Here's all the different types of things that you could run into, which is really cool, and equipment, character kits, and new subclasses. So really quick in this introduction, they like to talk about that they introduce everything, but they also say, like, we acknowledge that this is not the most cultural friendly campaign setting, because let's be honest, it was probably written by a bunch of white dudes who had read 1001 Arabian Nights and also watched Aladdin recently. So they explain that although you can love this campaign setting, it is a fictional world, and they did their best to keep it culturally appropriate. But at the end of the day, it wants to hold true to what the original campaign setting was. I think they handled it really well, probably better than I am handling it right now in this video. And specifically, I wanted to read this sensitive topic up here. So they say the source material upon which the book is based dealt pretty casually with topics such as slavery, torture, and other such horrific ideas. Such topics weren't exactly the most tasteful 30 years ago and are no more so now. We have made a conscious effort to minimize the appearance of these concepts within this work. They want you to have fun in this campaign setting, but we don't need to be using racial stereotypes to get any kind of anything across. There's just no reason to. So they took them out. Cities of Zakara. So Zakara is very large, and people were able to stay together and stay strong, so they built large cities. They're kind of divided into these geographical areas. We have cities of the heart, cities of the north, cities of the pearl, and cities of the pantheon. And within these things, there are subdivisions of other cities. So they got a lot of maps, which is really helpful. And here is the heart. So these 1, 4, 3, 2 would be the cities of the heart. But it tells you population, what they're known for, what kind of trade they have, and then just a little bit about it and some rumors, so that if your players are traveling, then they can get enough about what this city is. And you, the DM, can as well. This is a great resource if you're going to run a game there. So again, here's the northern area, and they have really great maps. I love that I just love this map, first of all. And then it's very clear as to where things are. Like, I think they did a great job. Now, the wastes of Zakara are to the city dwellers, they pity the people who live in the wastes, but the people in the wastes pity the city dwellers, because each kind of has its own benefits. Within the wastes, there are tribes that are wandering around, and here we are, just like this. So here are the various tribes that you'll meet if you are walking around. Some of them are warring with each other, some of them are not, but you get a good sense of what they are and if they'll help you. Now, next over here, if you look on the side, we have the power groups, and Zakara is a land of magic, so there are lots of magical power groups. I'm gonna click on this sorceress societies. Yeah, we have the constellation. There are wizards in Zakara that are dedicated to a single element, which changes how they are interpreted. And with that, they might be all fire and so these people band together to be like all earth or all fire or all wind and what have you. But there are other fun societies over here, such as the Constellation. I really like the Society of the Shifting Sands, which is a treasure hunting conglomerate dedicated to retrieving ancient artifacts. You can totally use that just as a quest, like, hey, we're going here, we need muscle, kind of a thing. Sorry, everybody. We're going to backtrack just a little bit because I forgot to talk about fate. So fate is a very important concept within al-qadim. And if you guys are curious, I'll put in the doobly-doo below, also I'll put a link to a playlist of all of my al-qadim videos that I've made, so you can get kind of you can get an overview of it. But whether you worship a god or all these other things, there's this concept of fate, and it's not necessarily a deity or anything that cohesive, but there is a magical presence of fate to the people of Zakara, and that can swing one way or the other. Now, this book put it into a 5th edition mechanic, which I love because players oftentimes, you explain things like that and they're like, okay, cool, fate. But if it's a mechanic, it sticks in their brain and they get a concept of like, wow, Zakara is different. So in this supplement, which I say supplement, but in this campaign setting that they've produced, you can call upon fate. And specifically it says down here that fate's ways are mysterious. They refer to her as a she. And fate can help you in a certain situation. So any character while you're playing the game can call upon fate, but fate favors the humble. To call upon fate, a character must use their action to declare that they are doing so along with a specific request that they are making. Typically, they give some examples that you can duplicate a spell, 5th level or lower, or maybe you're teleported away to safety, or you become invisible for a brief moment of time. Now, to determine whether fate is in your favor, you subtract your station from 20. So now, station, jumping back over here, every character has a social hierarchy, and you have a station within the world of Zakara. So within this, you get a station by adding your level and your charisma modifier. So, and the higher your character station, the better reception you'll be among people. So as you level up, people are going to notice you more because your station's going up, but also those more charismatic people will have a stronger presence within the world of Zakara. Now, going back, let's say that I am, level 10 bard with a +5 in charisma. I have a level, I have a station number of 15. So if we go back to fate, I can make a fate roll. Now, I determine fate's response by subtracting my station from 20. The resulting number is the % chance fate responds favorably to the request. One of the reasons I really, really like this concept is that both players are punished and rewarded in different ways at the same time. So if I am playing my level 10 bard with +5 charisma, and I've got level 15 station, city things are way easier to me, but fate favors the humble. So my level, level 5 person who's with me, he has a much easier time calling on fate. So these rules say you subtract the character station from 20, and that the resulting number is the % chance fate responds favorably to the request. So I have a 5% chance with my bard. Now, the chance is never less than 1%, even for very powerful and highly regarded characters. Fate may favor the humble, but she doesn't abandon the great. A 1 to 5 in order to succeed. If I do that, fate intervenes and helps me in whatever way I requested. But if that doesn't happen, then you get the evil eye. Now, the writers have made it very open that it could be madness that you do off of a madness table. It could be he says you could use a bestow curse spell that they have to get rid of. But all of these have to they can't be taken care of by the cleric in your party. You need to do some kind of ritual to appease fate. And that's really up to the DM and the player to kind of understand how did you upset fate with this? And what can you do to make it up to fate? How could you help the humble? Maybe fate is using your curse, your evil eye, that you have on you as a way to intervene and help others, like you're cursed now. In order to lift that, I need you to help these other people. But that's fate intervening in their lives. I just love it. It's really cool. Now, for a lot of you here, you're probably wondering about character options, and they have some really fun ones. So equipment here is, if you want to have specific Zakaran equipment, you can basically use the stats from items in the player's handbook. So a cutlass is going to be a scimitar. A great scimitar is going to be a great sword. A jambia is going to be a dagger, and things like that. Now we have the character kits. They kind of explain what kits are, and they're fun. So you apply, this isn't something, it's not like a feat that you take or something like that. It's literally something you just kind of apply over your character to make them more Zakara-esque, make them part of this setting. So let's just read a few of them. Barber. Okay, so once upon a time, barbers were far more than groomers. They passed along news stories and carried messages, and most important, provided surgical and dentistry services. A character who takes this kit spent time developing their information gathering and minor medical skills, though they will never be able to provide the level of treatment a divinely gifted character can. unless of course they can learn the relevant spells. But barbers are able to handle the most mundane treatments. When you take this, you get skills in medicine, sleight of hand. You get a tool proficiency with a healer's kit. And if you already have this, you get a +2 made to using that kit. And then your special ability is you have advantage on charisma checks against creatures that you have successfully treated with your surgical or dental skill, and disadvantage on charisma checks against creatures you have treated unsuccessfully or harmed with those skills. Now, while grooming a creature, you have advantage on skill checks against that creature. So you get a little bit of skills and things like that, but really it's a flavor thing, and I really enjoy that. So you get something special. But now we have some new subclasses. Very, very exciting. The monk has the Mystic of Nog, but level 6, you get boost attribute. And I really like this. So if you spend, you can spend up to 10 key points to get a boost to your, strength, dexterity, or constitution score. So you just like infuse key into your body. Now, doing this, you gain, so let's say I have I use my reaction to increase my dexterity by 2. So I spend 3 key points, and now my dexterity has gone from 14 to 16, and I get all the benefits of that. And I get that for a number of minutes of my wisdom modifier. So we'll just say 1 minute for it lasts for a thing. But when that minute is over, I gain a level of exhaustion for every point, for each point of which I boosted an attribute. So if I boosted my attribute twice, I went from 14 to 16, so I gained 2 levels of exhaustion, and they remain until you finish a short or long rest. We were talking about Sha'ir, and this is Warlock, Pact of the Lamp, and the Noble Genie Patron. They said that they've been working on this for about 4 years. And so this probably was in the works before the Genie Pact of the Lamp came out, and they're actually very different. We're going to talk about it. So first of all, you get a Genie Familiar. At first level, your patron grants you the service of a Genie Familiar called a Gen. And this is all from AD&D stuff. And I've talked about this in a Sha'ir video, and you can all check it out. But your Gen is tied to an element of air, earth, fire, or water. And it behaves a lot like the Find Familiar spell, but it has certain stats and certain desires, and it doesn't always like listen to you, and you can't change its form. And I really like all of these things. So you're kind of like stuck with it because the genie's just like, this guy's going to follow you around. Now, here's the really fun thing. So at 3rd level, and this was the original Sha'ir, you would talk to your genie and be like, I need a spell. He would fly away, and then he would come back with that spell, but sometimes he wouldn't, and it would take a long time. They have done that, but they made it 5th edition, and it just works so much better, and it's really great. So you can request a Gen fetch any spell for you, even those normally restricted to other classes, and the time it takes for the Gen to return depends on the type of spell that you request. Spells that are on your spell list and are of a level that you can cast are fairly easy, but spells that are not on your class spell list or of a higher level than you can cast take longer, and the Gen has to negotiate with powerful forces on your behalf. And so this was like, if you needed a healing spell, your Gen would have to go to a divine realm and be like, I got this guy who really wants some magic, and like barter and negotiate. Or if you wanted a fire spell, they would have to go to the plane of fire, the city of brass, and do the exact same thing. So much fun. So if you request a spell of higher level than you can cast or is not on your spell list, you must provide your Gen with 2 spell slots instead of 1. So it's like, I really want to do this, but we gotta do that. Now, if a spell is of higher level than you can only cast it as a ritual, even if the spell itself lacks the ritual tag. And you must succeed on a charisma saving throw with a difficulty class equal to 15 plus the spell's level. You can add 1/2 your warlock class level to this check. Kind of complicated, but I think if you write down like, this is the check this is what I would roll for the check, you're going to be good. Now, if the spell is not on your class spell list, you must cast it as a ritual, as above, but you do not add your warlock class level to the check because it's not on your spell list. You're not really familiar with it. If the spell is of higher level than you can cast and not on your class spell list, you make the check with disadvantage. I love this. It's so cool. If you succeed on the check, your Gen provides you with the spell and you can cast it using spell slots. So you just have it. It's cool. And you have to cast the spell before finishing a short or long rest because you don't get a hold on to this power. And I think that's really cool. Yeah, so the Genie patron, you get a vessel, and this one was all about kind of you get some extra damage based on an elemental, and then you gain resistance to damage, and you get a flying speed, and then you can like take you and your friends into your lamp or your bottle or whatever. And then you get limited wish, and then you finally do get wish at the final level. But if I could talk to my Jen to go out and bring me a wish spell, that's more dangerous and creative, and I like that. I don't know, I just think that's more. So I really like this. I think it's a lot of fun. Finally, we have elemental themed wizards. So if you want to be that flame wizard or things like that. So we have Flame Mage, the Sand Mage, which I've just always been a big fan of the Sand Witch. You can use a bonus action to anchor yourself in your surroundings. You get a Sand Shadow, Entomb, just really cool. You can do a Sea Mage, and then a Wind Mage, which would be a lot of fun. You can do your Avatar: The Last Airbender right here. Everyone's wizards. Zakara, Adventures in the Land of Fate. $14.95 on the DM's Guild. It is currently an Electrum bestseller. It's doing really well. I might get this in hardback because I liked it so much. This is something that I would really value on my shelf because I love the campaign setting and I love that we have a 5th edition flavor for it. Thank you for staying till the very end. Thank you for liking and subscribing and all that jazz. I really value all of your support. We are getting so close to 100,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous. And it's going to be just awesome gonzo fun when we're there. Again, if you're interested in this, there is an affiliate link down below, and a little bit comes back to the channel. I very much appreciate that. If you're interested in other review things, I'll put some, here. That these are things that I would actively use at my game, even though I'm not currently running the Zakara game, but now I want to. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for this Friday for a very special announcement about really cool things. I'll see you guys later.